Hey guys, this is Susan with Pack Leader Dog Training, and I'm here with Rachel Kohler Dog Training. We're here for our weekly Q&A, ready to put the show on.
Yeah, it's a show. It'll be something. Entertaining one way or another.
Yeah, hopefully everybody's having an awesome Tuesday. It's kind of dreary here. It's like rainy, on and off. So, yeah. Did you say it was doing that there too?
Yeah, so your storm that hit you yesterday, I think made its way down here. I'm just making that up, you guys. I don't know weather. But we had the storm today. So that went on for a little bit earlier, and now it's just gross outside.
Yeah, it's wet and gross. Like it rained off and on. I have Kira, the board and train here, so we were able to go outside for a little bit while it wasn't like miserable. It's still like she has the long line, and you know when it's wet outside, and then the long line gets like gross. Yeah,
that's the worst.
Yeah.
Because I know I had one time I was working with somebody outside in the long line, and then I got to my next client's house, and I planned on working inside with the long line on that dog. And I get there, and like I'm sitting in my car, I pick up the long line from my passenger seat, and I wrap it up. It's like just soaking wet, and I'm like, nope, we're gonna work on something else today. That is so annoying, though.
It's so gross,
but you know,
long lines. Like I think I've had that conversation with multiple people recently about like use the leash on your dog. You know, and I know you've heard from clients that it really helps when your dog's leashed. And I'm like, I understand that having a leash on your dog is annoying.
Freaking annoying.
I understand that. But having a wet long line makes it even worse.
It really is the whole other level. Something you just reminded me of something. I don't remember who I said this to, but I'm like, hey, like having them drag a leash is really annoying, right? Having them drag along is super annoying, right? And the client's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, put in the work now so you can take it off later. But I don't want to lose that too early. But yeah, wet long lines is enough for me. We're not going outside today.
Yeah.
So what have you and Miss Kira been getting into today?
Today she's off leash inside. I know. Outside, long line, and before we just did some work. Right now she's in place, but we did some active work before this, and she was leash dragging outside.
Wow,
so that was cool because I was.
You didn't have to touch the wet long line.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to touch it. But it's nice when it's leash dragging it rather than you holding it because it gets tangled in their feet and you constantly have to like. But yeah, that was cool because she was getting far enough away that like the long line wasn't. The long line's like 5 to 6 feet away from even me. So like if she decided to bolt, I'd have to like hop, skip, and jump on it. No, but I was like, stay over here, and then she turned and stay over here. It's so great.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Day 4?
Yeah, I got a Friday at 10, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday. Yeah, day 4 plus.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
She's doing really good.
She's pretty great.
So for anyone who doesn't know, if y'all, I think it actually shows up on Facebook and Instagram. Do your stories go on Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay. Check out our stories. We do have a training challenge up. Wait, no, mine's probably expired. But the story we shot might be up.
Yours will be gone.
Yours, will it still be on your story? I don't know. Either way, Susan and I did a training challenge, and Susan was freaking off leash or leash drag healing Kira in the store on day 3 of training. So just throwing that out there. Because, you got Kira leash dragging the long line out of your reach, outside, off leash, inside. She's rocking it.
She's rocking it, actually. Because at first, she just didn't deem me valuable. Like, she didn't even know humans mattered.
Same.
At all. She's the dog that you'd say her name, and she's like, huh. And you're like, wow, at least other dogs, like, you say their name, and they're like, yeah? No.
She said, Kira, who?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. But yeah, definitely much more focused now. That's so funny. Anyway, enough about Kira. How was your day?
Busy day as always. I had 6 doggos today. Let me think if I did anything extra special worth sharing. Zola's a lot of fun. I have Miss Zola for train and play once a week. She's a lot of fun. We're doing Play Dead, teaching her Play Dead. And last week she was really struggling. She wanted to just like roll over. So I would do bang. She's supposed to lie down on her side. She gets so excited. She wants to roll all the way over. And I'm like, cute, but not what we're doing. So we spent a lot of time working on that positioning. So today I was like, I'll just test it out. We usually go over to the carpeted area to train, but we had just walked in. I'm like, I want to see what happens. Told her bang on the hardwood floor, which we've practiced before, but never like right off the bat. And she did it. Perfect position. I was like, oh, so we practiced it all over the house, and she was doing it in every room. So I was really impressed. I was really impressed with her.
That's on your too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty fun. She was doing really good with that. And then send a place across their whole like kitchen and living room area. Oh, I think she loves that. But she was a lot of fun today.
And what is your train and play program?
So train and play, that's for dogs who've graduated from my training services. And then they can come back for train and play. Did that answer it? No. So the purpose of train and play is to keep their training in tip-top shape. So I'll run them through obedience commands. And then we're doing a lot of play. The group I have right now, for various different reasons, we're mainly focused on play, but we just do a lot of play. So trick training, confidence building, just any fun little things we can do to keep them mentally engaged.
Very nice.
But yeah, so like London, for example, her obedience is like A1. So we are working on a lot of different tricks. And then I have Jade, she's got her obedience stuff down, but she's really super insecure. So we use her train and plays to work on building her confidence, because life doesn't need to be so scary.
Yeah, so you like tailor it to the dog, what they need.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It's pretty fun. I enjoy it. Yeah. It's a fun break. So I've got my schedule: obedience dogs, train and play, obedience dogs, train and play. So it mixes it up a bit.
Yeah. Well, I have a question for you.
You know why that's so great, Susan?
Because you don't have any?
I don't have any, Susan.
Yeah,
Like, I feel like I've just stopped trying at this point. Like, I don't think I've had prepared questions since probably Q&A like 8. I'm sorry.
Well, but that's fair because you do the uploading and everything. So
okay, you're right. You're right. I'll stop feeling guilty about that. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll just have the question. Okay. I was told that pit bulls are not good family dogs. I have 2 children, ages 7 and 9. Do you think we would be able to adopt a pit bull?
Gaia, would you like any children between the ages of 7 and 9? She said no. So here's the thing. I gotta think of how to word this. So pit bulls, to me, are kind of funny in the sense that it's literally a gamble. Now, with any dog, they're going to have their personalities. But to me personally, I kind of feel like you can take a coin, and on one side is going to be crackhead, and on the other side is going to be couch potato. You flip that coin in the air, wherever it lands, that's the pit bull you got. Like, they're so different because pit bull is actually not a breed. It's a variation of like 1,000 different box-headed breeds, whatever, whole thing. So I don't know. It's going to depend on the dog. Honestly, there's no guarantee, well, because this dog is a Labradoodle, it's going to be good with my kids. No, I've got a Labradoodle on training who's resource aggressive. He would be awful with kids, Mm-hmm. And then I don't actually have right now, but I've had a pit bull in training who's the sweetest thing ever, wouldn't hurt a fly. So it comes down to the individual dog. So when adopting a dog, you kind of don't know what you're going to get. So my best advice would be to meet the dog in a shelter, have it meet the kids in a shelter in like a safe setup, controlled environment. But you also have to remember that's the shelter version of your dog. Mm-hmm. It's going to be probably higher stress. So they might react crazier or they might react calmer, shut down. You don't know. So then you're going to want to go ahead and hire a trainer. Because I know I'm going on a little side rant here, but I've thought before, Susan, and I've wanted to have this conversation with you before. and maybe it's because I'm a trainer, but I couldn't imagine going out and adopting a dog, like a full-grown adult dog, bringing it to my home and not doing any training with it and not knowing anything about that dog or that dog's past. Like, I can see how people get a puppy and they grow up with the puppy and don't do training, whatever.
Yeah.
But like, this is a whole dog that you know nothing about and you bring it into your home. Okay, so I know. So always hire a trainer, and then your trainer can help you, and your dog and your kids exist together happily.
Yeah,
Oh, that was a rant. I wasn't planning on.
I couldn't imagine doing that either, but you know, we're trainers, so we're biased.
Mhm.
But like just getting a dog and letting it free in your house to do whatever, you don't know what you're gonna get. Like when I had to go out to the grocery store, are you gonna damage my walls? I just had somebody contact me recently, and that their dog started chewing their wall, so that would just be awful. Anyway,
Right. Sorry, side note.
Yeah, you can also work with a shelter that fosters, so that it's not a shelter setting; it's more of a foster setting. And usually, the foster can give you more insight to their like temperament. So after the initial, like the foster for longer than a week, it usually takes like a week or so for the dog to detox and settle into their true self. You'll be able to get more known facts about the dog's personality, like, oh yeah, it just lays around, doesn't mind, like kids run around, doesn't care. You know, I would just look out for stuff like that. But the breed of the dog typically doesn't matter, and I say typically because, you know, there's a couple like crazy nut breeds that we would probably recommend you do your research before getting, but most breeds, there's going to be lots of different personalities and temperaments. You don't know what you're going to get until you get it, which is, we talked about that as well. Like, you know, you go to a shelter and that is the shelter version of that dog. So like my dog Sadie, she's the perfectest dog to me. But in a shelter setting, I could picture her being the dog jumping and whining and trying to break out of the kennel because she doesn't have any stimulation, you know, or direct. But yeah, that's a whole nother.
It's crazy though, you know. Sorry, my brain is still just stuck on the like bringing a dog home and just not doing anything with it. Like I've seen like videos of like first day home and people are like hugging on the dog and like doing crazy stuff, and I'm like, okay. But yeah, that's crazy. So yeah, the foster thing, that was a really smart idea, you know, because at first I thought you were saying have the family do a foster to adopt. But yeah, like if the dog's already in a foster, you know what they're already okay living in and how they respond before you even bring them into your home to do any situation with them. So that's smart. And then hire a trainer immediately.
Even before you get the dog, like some of your clients.
Can I just tell you guys that my heart like explodes when I have people contact me and say, hey, I'm getting a puppy on blah blah. I'm interested in your puppy program, or I'm interested in your hands-off training. Like, you don't even have the dog and you're already thinking about training. That like makes my heart so happy, because that tells me that your mindset is already in setting your dog up for success, not stopping unwanted behaviors. Which, don't get me wrong, stopping unwanted behavior is fine, but like right off the bat, you're setting your puppy up for success, and I love it.
Pretty great.
Makes my whole day.
Okay. Okay. My 2-year-old Malinois is fearful of men. She still barks at my husband sometimes if he startles her. How do I get her to stop barking at him?
You should probably tell your husband to stop being a jerk and stop startling your dog. But 2-year-old Mal, skittish, barks at husband.
Yeah.
So it sounds like she has some issues. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna like build up her confidence. I'm gonna do that. I know my go-to is always okay. I've gotten better through the Q&A, but training. So when we first, I'm gonna go on a side note here and then answer the question, because why not? What else? What else are we gonna do? When we first started doing this Q&A, I told Susan the problem is gonna be my answer is always gonna be train your dog, because there's not a lot of questions that can't be answered with train your dog. Do a full obedience course with your dog the way that Susan and I do. So for the past, not counting this one because we're still doing it, 36 Q&As, it has been really fun to problem solve and think about different solutions for things, not just saying fully train your dog. But like for skittish dogs and like insecurities like this, and especially because it's Malinois, like my go-to is always fully train your dog because that gives them like a whole life of balance and structure. And dogs take a sense of comfort in that balance and structure. So for skittish dogs, my brain always just says full training. I can't, with the other stuff, I've gotten better at saying, well, place could help or da da da. But for skittish dogs, my brain just thinks of Abby and you know how she was. And I'm just like, your dog needs a full obedience course. It needs a reset so you can effectively communicate with her and give her the guidance and structure and boundaries and rules that she needs to feel confident in her life.
But, right. Yeah, because like if it was just a jumping dog, or even if it was
attention barking,
like you're outside barking at people, I could say you could correct that. But if you're still barking at someone in your household that's a part of your pack, that means you are really nervous and you're not even comfortable at home. Mm-hmm. So you can't just punish that away, because if you just punish a fearful dog, they're just going to become like more shut down. So unfortunately, yeah, full training would be beneficial for this dog, and that's what I recommended, was a 4-week board and train. Because you need a full reset, especially with a drivey dog like that, and especially with fearfulness. Fearfulness always takes longer, because not only do we have to train the dog what we want, but now we have to build its confidence. So instead of it just being a pushy, snotty dog, I can punish those behaviors, and now you're just like, good. Well, I got this insecure dog, so now I got to teach you what to do, and then use those commands to expose you to the world and teach you that it's not so scary. So it just takes longer.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad you weren't like, Rachel, that was a stupid answer. They could just do blah. Because, like, you could probably get away with, like, training place. But, like, I don't know. It doesn't take care of, like, the really core of the problem, Like the...
Yeah. Like, it's when the husband just, like, walks in the room sometimes. She gets scared because she doesn't know it's him. And then when she sees it's him, she stops barking. So it's like...
Oh, yeah. No, for some reason, I thought you said when he gets home. But he's, like, already home, just living in his house. And she freaks out. Yeah. 4-week boarding training for Susan. Is my answer. Another rant, if you don't mind. What's crazy? What's crazy? Do you ever think about it? Do you ever think about, like, imagine in this situation, not bashing the zoners or anything, but this is just a good example. What it's like for that dog. Like, I love analogies. So could you imagine being moved to a foreign country where you don't know the language? You don't have a job. All you can do is sit at home all day. When you go out, people talk to you. You don't know what they're saying. They yell at you sometimes because you're, like, walking alongside the street, but you don't know because, like, you don't know what they're saying. It's like sometimes people are, like, yelling at you, and you're just surrounded by people and they're talking to you and you don't know what they're saying. Sometimes they're nice to you and they give you treats, and sometimes they, like, yell at you. I'm not saying they yell at their dog, but
right.
That'd be pretty freaking sucky. Like, I would be a ball of anxiety. She's got no job and no way to effectively communicate with people. So then you're living in this country and you learn to speak the language, training, because that's what training is, having a language with the dog. And then you get a job, so you have something to do throughout the day. Gonna maybe feel a little bit more confident.
Did you just think of this analogy right now, or have you said this before to clients?
Actually, I had a daydream about it one time. I thought about it one time before.
No, like, this is fantastic. I'm like, what a great analogy. Like, who the heck
like this? I literally just love analogies.
No, it's perfect. I was like, huh. Yeah, because I pictured, like, a dog not really understanding people. And yeah, they know routine. So it's like when you're laying on the couch, if they come lay up to you, they know they're going to get, like, rewarded or whatever. But, like, they don't know that they're not supposed to bark. And then they randomly get yelled at for barking and,
Right. And that's why, like, marker words are so important. And giving those marker words meaning, and then training. So you can, it's just communication. It's a language. We talk about it being a language all the time. So it makes sense to think a dog who doesn't speak the language is probably going to be pretty freaking confused.
Right.
I mean, you might be that person who goes to a different country and is just kind of like, walking around not caring about anybody, looking at the flowers. But not everybody can, like, be in a situation where they have no idea what the heck's going on and be fine with it.
it all comes from the personality. So
Yeah.
there are people that could go to another country and be like, da da da, not care, like people are talking to them, whatever, I'm enjoying life, happy-go-lucky lab.
Right.
And then there's the nervous, fearful Malinois that's like,
Me.
oh God, yeah, because they don't know. That's
Right.
so great.
Well, I'm glad you like my analogies. Glad
No,
somebody appreciates them.
okay. Okay. My 6-month-old golden doodle jumps constantly and scratches my arms. She also runs around the house like a mad woman. How do I calm her down?
Training. I love this question. So, okay. All right, sorry. What do I want to start with this? Sorry. I've got a lot of thoughts. Excuse my pajama fans. It's been a long day. So, your 6-month-old puppy jumps, scratches, runs around like a maniac. The secret to owning a puppy, the thing that's going to change your life, well, there's a lot of things, but we're going to go with this one because it's super simple. Have a leash on your dog. Let the sucker drag a leash around your whole house. Is it annoying? Probably. But guess what? When they're running around, yes, ma'am.
I did try that. I'm gonna be the owner. I'm gonna be
Okay.
the owner of these situations.
Oh my gosh, this is so fun. Okay, sorry.
Okay. I've tried that, but she bites the leash and destroys it, so we've probably gone through about 4 leashes now.
Okay, so now you're gonna kick her butt. So your dog chews on the leash. No, correct. How are you gonna correct that? With a what do we say? Don't tell me. Not a proper punisher. An effective punisher. With something that's gonna be effective for your dog. Is that gonna be saying no and doing a leash pop? Yeah, the leash is in her mouth. No, and I'm gonna pop the leash. That usually stops them because guess what? That leash in my mouth, not comfortable. Compressed air, finger poke to the side, apply a correction. Eventually, your dog's gonna learn having a leash on. It's just not a toy. It's just a fact of life.
What if she chews on it when I'm not like in the room? Like she'll go in the other room and chew on it.
You read my mind here. So you've got your dog on a leash. She doesn't need to go to the other room. If she goes to go to the other room, you can step on her leash. You can honestly back tie her or something. That's called sitting on a puppy. She doesn't need to go to the other room, you know, because she makes poor choices when she's by herself because she's a toddler. If you give a toddler a pack of Sharpies and send them off into your new freshly coated painted living room, might not end super well for your living room. So for your puppy, who is essentially a toddler, we're not gonna have fun, go explore my house and do whatever you want. Like, no, not allowed. So you're gonna be under my direct supervision or in your kennel. Because you don't need to be doing anything else. So now that they're not gonna be chewing on the leash anymore because they're not gonna be unsupervised, and we know how to correct it if we catch them doing it. How is that going to help with the jumping and the puppy craziness? So, when your dog jumps on you, again, we're going to correct that. Shocker, I know. But it's an unwanted behavior. I don't want you jumping on me. I need to tell you in a way that you can understand. You could do a leash pop, but your dog's probably wearing a flat collar, so leash pops with flat collars are pretty gross. So I would go with compressed air. I had a little lab puppy who I met yesterday, cutest thing ever. And literally, if you like lifted your foot like this far off the ground, like you're putting your knee up, he got down. He was like, "Oh, my bad." I was like, "That's a first." But you're just gonna correct the jumping. Now with jumping, I'm always like, really want to stress this to people. Be fair to your dog, please. Do not correct your dog for jumping on you when you get home from work. And then 10 minutes later, when they jump on you, love up and pet on them, or the opposite, you know, whatever. Don't care. Don't let them jump on you today and not let them jump on you tomorrow, because dogs are gambling addicts. If sometimes I jump on you and get a pet, the risk of maybe getting corrected is worth it. So I'm going to keep on jumping on you. I might get corrected, might get a pet, I'm going to take that chance. So be super clear, always correct it. He's going to learn quickly. Every time I jump up, it sucks. And as far as the crazy zoomies go, I don't know, it's a puppy. If it gets too crazy, gets into something, acts like a man. I don't know what that was. Sorry. I thought Guy was coughing, but I think something just fell.
Huh.
Um,
I'm gonna steal some of your phrases though. I love just letting you go on rants because I'm like, ooh, that's a good phrase I might use later. Dogs are gambling addicts. Love it.
yeah, they are. The suckers, they've got a problem, Susan. We got to help them out. I'm glad you enjoyed it because I'm just sitting here talking and it's like we've only got 5 minutes left. I hope she doesn't want me to like just shut up or something.
I don't care. What do I got to say?
He's just talking. My guess was so far off about how many people were going to before we got on the Q&A. I was like, Susan, I got a good feeling. Q&A is going to go great. We're going to have a max number of people watching us, the most we've ever had. For those watching the replay, we've had 0 people watching tonight.
I knew it.
We had like 1 or 2 in the beginning. So you guys watching the replay, kind of at this point in the Q&A, like we're about done. I don't care. I just act like a fool. Like nobody's watching. You know what's crazy? Like that's crazy. Like we are live for the internet, for the whole world could see me talking like a fool right now, and nobody is. Y'all are missing out on some quality foolness.
Nobody's watching it.
Anyways, yeah, if your puppy's acting crazy, remember they're a puppy, but you know, if they get into stuff they shouldn't, you've got that leash there. But yeah.
I told so I had a consult this morning, Bristol, the 12-week-old puppy. And that's one of the things that I told her was have a leash on your dog. And she's like, Susan, that is so simple, but I never thought to do that. She never thought to do that. She's like, especially outside because they have a fenced-in yard. She's like, I never would have thought to put a leash on her because we have a fenced-in yard. Yeah.
Right, because you're so conditioned to like the dogs go put leashes on when we go out the front door and there's no fence. That's the only time people think about it. But it's like, I want control over you, sucker. Like, I need a handle or something because you're crazy. Like, I need a leash on you.
Mm-hmm.
But that's so funny. But it is something so simple that can be such a game changer. I've had several clients, some more reluctant to try it than others. But once they eventually did, they're like, you are right, man. This leash thing is game changing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And clients will be like, yeah, they act different when the collar and leash is on. Uh-huh.
Because they know you can hold them accountable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like, oh my gosh. Sorry, the leash thing just made me think if I ever have kids, those suckers are wearing a leash.
Oh my God, you shut up. Because, so the puppy's owner today, we were talking about the leash on the whatever, because, you know, it's like having a toddler. You don't want them to be out of your eyesight, blah, blah, blah. And I said something, we said something about like leashing kids, and I'm like, yeah, but that's frowned upon or whatever, I don't know. And she's like, oh yeah, I did it anyway. She's like, I had a leash on my kid. She's like, I don't care if you judge me. She's like, I don't want my kid running around through the store. She's like, it was a cute little turtle backpack thing, but he was on a leash, and I'm like,
she's my new best friend.
Yeah.
Sorry, Susan, replaced.
Well, I mean, she has to like you.
Go lay in your bed. Thank you. Go lay down. No, I would do it. Like, I mean, I put prong collars and knee collars on my dogs anyway, so I get enough ugly looks when I'm walking around. I'll put a leash on a kid if I ever have one. I don't lose those suckers.
At PetSmart.
Oh my gosh. They disgust me. I had a client. It was so cute. So they're not on social media, so I forget that they didn't see that I am doing grooming now. And I didn't mention it to them because, you know, I figured they had their own groomer already. It was Zoe. And it was so cute. Her mom was like, have you ever considered grooming? And I was like, I'm learning right now. And she's like, yeah, I take her to pet whatever. I don't remember which one. And she's like, I don't like it. I hate taking her there. And I was like, why? But just because it's like she's just a number, they don't care about her just getting the groom done.
Oh yeah.
And I can see that. But I was like, yeah, I don't like them because I get harassed when I go into their stores with a dog on tools. And like, guys, my anxiety is not up for being harassed on a regular basis. I'm trying to do my job. So I didn't go there.
If you're with me, you can harass them for me.
Yes, I wanted to go off on that guy so bad. If I don't know if I'm supposed to say her name. If your client's owner did not go off on said employee very respectfully herself, I was gonna go off because it's in Pennsylvania too. Like, what are you gonna do? You're 3.5 hours away from me. I'm gonna go home to Virginia, and you're gonna still be sitting here feeling stupid. So, so rude. People tick me off. Like, don't come at me for training a dog.
Yeah.
Better
Well,
than
and
you.
so I had a client, the Saint Bernard. So she got just told that PetSmart won't groom her dog anymore, because of they don't know how he's going to act around dogs. So he will react, like bark and nip at the dog. But she's told them multiple times, like, he's not, great around other dogs. Like, I don't really know. He reacts, blah, blah, blah. And they constantly walk him through, like, the tables where the dogs are standing. And they always schedule him when there's other dogs, even though she tries to schedule him, like, at the end of the day when there's no other dogs. But she's like, they just don't care. They just put him in. And then it's just silly because they walked him in between the row of dogs. He was doing fine because you could see through the window. Then this little Yorkie barked and, like, yipped and nipped at him. So then he was like, brah, and he did the same thing. And then they kept walking. And then later that day, she was told, yeah, we can't have your dog because he's not, like, predictable or whatever. But I'm like, what about the Yorkie?
Seems kind of predictable because the mom told you what was going to happen.
Yeah. So she's looking for a groomer. So it's a shame that she can't drive 3.5 hours to see you. But
well, how about that's just a reason for me to come up to your house? Honestly, real talk for a second. We're over our time here, but real talk. Dogs, he needs to be groomed every 6 to 8 weeks. So we'll call it every 8 weeks because, why don't I just come up for the weekend anyways, Susan?
Every 6 to 8 weeks?
We talked about hanging out every month freaking before anyways, but guess what didn't happen?
It doesn't happen, yeah. Because, life.
Ooh, Susan. Next year, I've got a week off between every set of dogs. Now, it won't actually be a week. It'll just be like Friday to, like, I'll have off Friday and then I'll go back to work on Tuesday. But not actually for this groom. But real talk, next year it will be easier to hang out every 6 weeks because I'll have a break every 6 weeks.
Yeah.
If you want to see me that often.
Well, I'll believe it when I see it, much like you did with our vacation.
Okay. But yeah. Anyways, I was gonna keep talking because I want to keep talking.
God,
but we're past time. Oh, hi Emily. A little late. But thanks for joining. How you doing?
Hey.
Thanks for being our only person to comment today. Really appreciate that. See, if we weren't just sitting on here rambling, we would have had no comments. So yeah. Thanks. It's just I'm late. Yeah, and we're still here because I do have a phone call I gotta do. I was about to say because we don't have anything else to do.
Yeah, you do a phone call.
I gotta go have a phone call with a skittish dog. So skittish dog went to pet blank for training. No change in their demeanor. Because believe it or not, just giving your dog treats is gonna really help with severe anxiety and nervousness. So I'm gonna go have a little chatty chat with them. Let's see what we can do for their pup. Because their owner said the sweetest thing ever. He was like, this is no way for her to live her life. So just an anxious mess. And I'm like, yes, you're right. Oh, Simon says I will watch the replay. Oh, that's such a lie. You're sweetie.
You didn't miss much, don't worry.
You didn't. We didn't do anything. So thank you. Nobody to watching, those who watched the replay, thank you so much. I think it's super cool if you made it through 34 minutes of us rambling about nothing. Everybody have a super awesome day. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Pack Leader Dog and Rachel Polar Dog Training. Happy training.
Night.